What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dell's Den, as we are here with a very special guest. He started popping up around my feed when it came to the, Saturday morning adventures. When it comes to TMNT, I was like, man, that's real cool artwork. But then it started showing like you're gonna start doing signings, and this guy's traveling, and I had to try to get him on, and he's here now. I really appreciate it. I've already told him like 10 times. But yeah, let's go ahead and get going, and go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Tim Von Clote. A lot of people might know me online just under the simple moniker of TV Artworks. I'm a pop culture artist, a pop culture artist with a specific sort of style that I do. Like to incorporate a lot of graffiti and neon into my artwork, but most of the stuff that I create is based off of my childhood. So I find that a lot of people are digging that era, specifically of my childhood, of our
Mhm,
shared childhood.
mhm.
So yeah, that's kind of where my art started and kind of where I found my fan base.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Now, you've been doing this for a while. How long have you been an artist?
So,
That's a pretty general question.
when did I get past my imposter syndrome is the real question, I think. I've been drawing my whole life, but like really starting to do this. I started really kind of doing this style around
Mhm.
2018, 2019. And then, COVID hit and I had nothing to do but draw a lot. And I
Right.
decided once the world opened back up, I was going to get back out there and start really getting this out there and sharing it with people. And that's when I started doing conventions and networking and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess to say an artist in this style, 2019.
And it's very unique. I'm going to be posting photos of your work as we go through and as it goes through the
Sure.
editing process, and it's such your art is just so unique. When I look at it, it's a design within a design. Like there's another design within that design, and it's very interesting. Where did you get the idea of doing that?
When I first started doing it, I was taking like images and incorporating it like a real image of something and
Mhm.
incorporating it within like this outline that I drew. Like one of my earlier pieces is a Doctor Who piece, and I drew the 10th Doctor, but
Mm,
inside of his suit was like the TARDIS in space and stuff like that.
mhm,
And that's where I kind of got the idea of the interior design
mhm.
separating from the outline, and I moved away from that style in general and just started creating my own patterns and designs and stuff like that inside of the line work of the character.
Mhm.
So it's been an evolution for sure, just going from static images to these wild and crazy sort of patterns that I create. And as it's gone along, I've tried my best to eliminate blank space. I don't like any just sort of blank
Right.
singular color in a location. I like to make sure that if you're looking at the picture, anywhere you're looking, it's there's something going on. There's something busy happening.
Right, right.
So
I mean, it's the same thing at cons. Like, if I saw myself walking down the aisle of the artist alleyways and I saw your stuff, I would have to do a double take because, again, yes, yeah, you can see, like, as an example, you'll see Leonardo or you'll see Optimus Prime, some of your work that's there.
right.
But then if you do a double take, you'll notice that there's a design in that actual, character that you had drawn, and it just to see every little detail is just so unique. I love your style, love it.
It can get tedious at times, sometimes I frustrate myself because I try to stay fresh. I don't try to repeat images and patterns and everything like that from piece to piece. I'm always
Hmm.
trying to create like new, dynamic sort of color differentiations and stuff like that.
Right.
So I make myself angry with my own standards, I guess you could say, but it keeps it fresh for people, and I think just watching people's eyes when they see my artwork for the first time, like
Hmm.
you said, walking down an aisle at Comic Con,
Right.
and they just kind of do that double take, and their eyes just kind of have to do this like adjustment of like, what is it I'm
Right.
looking at exactly, that always cracks and it always makes me feel good because I know that those people are going to be drawn over to figure out what is what is this mess that they're looking.
I mean, but every piece of it is just it all goes together just to create this one big piece, and it's so good. What was the most challenging piece that you've been able to look upon or look back on, and you're like, man, I worked on this.
There's a couple commission pieces out there. One that I did not so long ago for one of my best friends. She commissioned Lady Mechanica, and obviously I don't have it. It was a commission piece,
Hmm.
but
Right.
it's on my Instagram over at TV Artworks. But I created this Lady Mechanica piece, and just the character herself. Mostly with a top hat with the goggles and the frilly this and that and the corset and the gun and the bands on the. If you're not familiar with Lady Mechanica, it's a
Hmm.
rad comic. People should go check that out.
Hmm.
Um, but that piece alone took me, just a couple of weeks alone to
Week.
work on that. Yeah, a couple of
Wow.
weeks. And that's the thing, is that my artwork doesn't move fast because it's a lot of I put it down, I put down an idea and
Hmm.
I let it sit for a little bit and I come back to it with fresh eyes. And a lot of times it's all about experimentation, trying to figure
Hmm.
out what's going to bounce better
Hmm.
on what colors, and how's it going to
Yeah.
not be too distracting and you still be able to tell what the whole form is. There's a
Yeah.
lot of that that goes back and forth.
Wow.
But did this Lady Mechanica, and then my wife created this beautiful frame that we put it in with the gears, the whole steampunk vibe and everything.
You just went all
And
out.
I just went all out. Yeah.
Well, good
I have
stuff,
the
man.
so I have the most fun, I think, with commissions, because
Okay.
when people come to me with ideas that I wouldn't have, because like I said,
Hmm.
most of the stuff I do is based off of like my nostalgia of things.
Right, right.
When people come to me with stuff like Lady Mechanica or an anime character or something like that really opens my eyes up to a whole new set of creativity of like
Mhm.
it, and also it helps me expand my own fandom, because a lot of times I did a piece, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. I did a character called Toru,
Mhm.
and had never seen the show before, but now I went on Crunchyroll and watched it all up, and it's such an adorable show, and it gave me so many ideas of inspiration for this character. So I love the fact that people come to me with ideas, and it helps me open up more and then
Mhm.
get more inspiration as it moves along.
Of course, of course. Now, I did wanna, quickly touch base on, keeping it fresh, like you had mentioned, right? That was actually gonna be another one of my questions, like, how do you not accidentally repeat another design that you've already done? Like, again, that's where the creativity part comes out, and it's so amazing that you have so many different kinds after how long you've been doing this.
Now and I can't say for certain,
Right.
that I have consciously repeated anything that any patterns that I've done in the past.
Mhm.
But if I do see it happening, change up the color scheme, I change up the way that things lay on top of each other. I automatically definitely keep. I have so many layers. I do it
Yeah.
digitally,
Yeah.
and so there's so many layers of everything. I couldn't even tell you just how many layers per piece there are, but I'm like, let me switch these up or switch this up or change the colors, or it just, if I catch myself doing it,
Mm.
there are some patterns that I do enjoy, that I just think look cool, but I will always modify them or enhance them in some way.
Mhm.
So like I said, it's all about experimentation, and I can only experiment. There's only so many ideas in this brain right until I have some sort of epiphany that allows me to move on. But yeah, it's experimentation and just trying not to repeat myself. That's the best I can do.
Now to kind of get off topic of what we're talking about, I'm pretty sure some
Sure.
individuals are probably going to want to know while they see your style, right? The
Mhm.
mustache. Can we talk about the mustache for a second?
Sure.
how how do you get it to get in that type of way? Like you go in your Instagram and you've had so many different types of styles. I mean, it's so unique of you. What are you gonna say?
Um, so I've had it for a little less than 10 years. And so it grew out of a whim. It was really a joke to begin with. I had my front teeth replaced, and
Okay.
so I couldn't shave.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna grow out this mustache and see where it goes from there. And goes through all the different phases. You have the teenager phase of the scraggly little
Right,
hairs, and then it
right.
grows into like a Freddie Mercury phase, and it just kind of goes through all these different sort of. And this is where it's ended up, and this is where it's been for the better part of the 8 years or whatever. But I wake up every day, and it's mostly shaped like
Mhm.
this. The other half is like either up my nose or in my mouth, 'cause so but it doesn't take much. A lot of people are like, "How long does it take you to put it together?" Well, it's, better part of 10 years. It's pretty trained now, just like the hair on your head. You brush it a
Yeah,
certain way so
yeah.
long, it just kind of goes that way. So
Mhm.
just put in some product and shape it up, and it's good to go.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
It's Sunday. I didn't fix this up until like an hour ago. So just so I didn't scare people. Camera.
well, clearly, I originally saw your post of the IDW. Okay, you kind of
Yeah.
had mentioned that this was like such a big accomplishment. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, let's get into why we're here.
Yeah,
Why I
yeah.
reached out to you.
So one of my goals of when I started drawing was like
Hmm.
I'm an avid comic book collector. I have a whole wall, a shelf of long boxes in my back room back here. I've just been collecting my
Hmm.
entire life, since
Hmm.
I was like 12. So it's like 22 years ago, right?
Hmm.
And so once I started getting out and doing the artwork and stuff like that, I was like, you know what? I'm aiming to do cover work, because some of my favorite artists out there, they were basically just doing cover work. You got Art Germ, and even more recently, David Nakayama, DNA. Like his covers are just nonstop, and I'm
Hmm.
like, that's what I want to do. My style does not work for panel artwork, sequential artwork in a comic.
Hmm.
It just doesn't work that way, and I have no disillusions about being able to do that with my art. But
Hmm.
creating comic covers, static images that could be dynamic in my own way,
Hmm.
I was like, that's a goal I'm going to work towards. And I was fortunate enough to make some connections and have the thing about the Turtles cover is not only do you have to go through IDW, but it's got to be approved by like the people who own Ninja Turtles, which is
Right,
Nickelodeon and Kevin Eastman,
right,
right?
right.
And so just to get past that hurdle, you're like, geez, okay, great. I'm glad,
You
they
said at
looked at
some
it and
point
didn't
in
get,
time they saw it and they were like, "Yeah, let's do this."
yeah, right. Because I have a big fear of people looking at it and just going, WTF, like, what? No. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can admit that my stuff doesn't work for everything, right?
Right, right.
But to get the comic cover and IDW and on a series that I was already an avid fan.
Hmm.
I mean, it is a series based off of the nostalgia of my childhood, and so it was just such an excellent, perfect pairing that I got the opportunity to do this cover. I couldn't have been a better fit, and so that's why it was such a huge deal to me. And I don't shut up about it. I mean, I know there's got to be people who follow me on the socials who are like, "Good Lord, stop with the cover
Nah,
already." But I'm
man,
like,
nah. You
I'm like,
gotta.
you guys get out there and get this cover.
He said, "You don't get it.
And
You don't get it."
not to detract from the cover
Right,
that I have just done,
right.
but just literally today I got approved for my next cover.
Oh my
So
god.
and we could talk about that later, but I'm super stoked for that as well.
I'm.
So it's gonna I feel so good that it's just moving forward at this point,
I'm glad that you feel
that
so accomplished because I think that's very important to be able to give yourself credit. 100%. Like, for years doing what I do here, social media, for years I was kind of dragging my feet. I didn't know what to do. And what I really wanted to do and what I'm doing to this day is connecting with people. I want to be able to connect with
yeah.
people. I want to be able to talk to them about their accomplishments and what they're doing and be able to help them if need be. And it's being able to meet individuals like yourself. I'm also in healthcare, which I'm able to help those in a different type of way. I always feel like this is my calling, and it sounds like this is what you've been building up to. It sounds like this is what you've been building up to, the hard work, the dedication. I do want to talk about the design. Where did you kind of start with the design?
Oh, it was. and I know I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it did begin with experimentation on Photoshop, just doing lines, and I wonder if I could emulate like a graffiti sort of style,
Right.
and sort of working with my line work like that. And I was like, what works well with graffiti is neon, and I started learning how to develop neon pen styles and everything like that. That's just out of so not to give away too much of my personal information, but I
Yeah.
down here in Florida, in Bradenton, Florida, is a well-known orange juice company,
Mm-hmm.
Tropicana. And my day job, I was working at Tropicana, and the train cars would roll in every day covered in the best graffiti. Like so many different styles of tags and graffiti work and murals on the side of these train cars that were unfortunately going to get painted over as soon as they came into the plant, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I would
Mm-hmm.
sit there and look at these things, and I'm like, I'm I'm not going to say I can get out there with a spray paint can and create some amazing stuff, but
Right.
how could I emulate that with my own hand?
Right.
Like on a tablet. And I started working with that style, and I'm like, oh, good, and the way it was coming together, I'm like, yes, this is great.
Mm-hmm.
Let me draw one of my first pieces was an Ninja Turtles piece. Usagi Yojimbo was one of my first pieces, and
Mm-hmm.
um I fell in love with the way I was progressing with my own artwork, and that's just where it's been since then.
Mhm. All right. All right. Well, good. I really like that. I mean, from where you started to where you're at now, it's you've accomplished so much, right? Um, so what I was gonna end up asking was your next projects. Like, where are you gonna end up going to for your next cons? I know that this specific exclusive one was for Megacon. Was it for
It was for
Megacon?
MegaCon.
Right.
Yeah, MegaCon is the biggest Comic-Con in the southeastern United States,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
down here in Orlando, Florida. So that was a big deal as well. I mean, it's how important this book was for me was just stacking on one thing on top of another.
Right.
To have a MegaCon exclusive with a MegaCon logo on it on the back of it is just
Wow.
that speaks a lot for MegaCons because I had to submit it to MegaCon and have them take a look at it, and they're
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, let's do this. So that was
Right.
another big step with it. Um, as far as cons go, so the beginning of this year, I hit it hard with conventions. I had like 4 cons within 5 weeks, and MegaCon being one of them. When this cover came out in early February, and was it February? January?
Yeah.
February.
About no
Feb
February. February.
Okay, I've lost track of so much time. It's only March. Um, so yeah, I was hitting, doing con after con, and then once MegaCon hit, and I was just like, let's just chill for a little bit. Let me catch up on things because when I have a lot of art prints that I have, and MegaCon wiped me out. Like
Oh yeah.
not just physically, but the crowd. I had so many people coming to my booth who had never seen my artwork before, but
Hmm.
had seen the cover advertised.
Right.
That they came to my booth to get the book signed, and then saw everything I had to offer, and I mean that was a great help as well. But right now I am chill on conventions until
Mhm.
there's prospect of a couple things coming up. Um, uh, that I don't even want to bring up because I don't even know that it'll be happening. But sometime in next month, April maybe.
Okay.
But on the books right now, and this is another big huge thing for me, and it has made me get on Duolingo to learn Spanish. Is that I have been invited as a guest artist down to Comic Con Ecuador.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I've been on my Duolingo learning Spanish so
Wow.
that I can go to
That's
Ecuador.
crazy. Well, congratulations on that. That's great.
Thank you, thank you. And then after that, I'll be sitting in with Lightning Comics at Tampa Bay Comic Con. Um, and who knows? I have some applications out there for conventions, and we'll see what pops up. We'll
Okay.
see what pops up. But
Okay.
but right now, I'm just kind of chill. I have a lot of commissions that I have to get done. I have, as I mentioned before, this new cover artwork that that needs to get done. So it's not that I don't want to do conventions or get out there and see people right now. It's just that
Mhm.
I'm stuck at my drawing desk right now.
Right,
So
right.
which
Well,
is a
about
good problem to have. I mean,
well, we always like to touch base on turtles as well, right? I mean, that's
oh
the
yeah,
theme here with Deltrons and the Den and everything that we do here. How has the turtles influenced you in any type of way? Like, clearly, it's our nostalgia, us growing up, our cartoons. That's what we love, our movies. But for
yeah.
you, how did they? I guess
It's
I
a
guess
good
the try.
question.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, how do they
It's
mold?
been one of the
Hmm.
it's been one of the biggest influences of my life. Like I just remember like having the toys as a kid back in, when they first came out, 86, 87, whatever it might have been, having the toys and just when I think of what inspired my own imagination growing up, it was playing with those figures, those and the He-Man toys,
Hmm.
because they all came out at kind of the same time. He-Man and the Ghostbusters toys, stuff like that, but mostly Ninja Turtles. My brother and I had the sewer play set, and we had the turtle van, and I just remember just being inspired by the fact that they were able to take these things off the screen and then
Right.
create them in physical things with the doors open and just the way that they were able to
Hmm.
transform those into real life. Like that really sparked my imagination of like, wow, it's not just an idea, you can actually create a physical form out of something,
Hmm.
you know
Hmm.
and so that in itself I think has really sparked my imagination as I've grown up, because my career by trade is doing engineering work, drafting, drawing.
Wow.
And so I draw things on page that get turned into real life objects, you know. So it's been heavily influential, starting with just holding those action figures, seeing them on screen, and then holding the figures in my hands. Has It's just that translation between the two kind of formed my life moving forward.
Now, clearly, you're wearing the turtle shirt for the arcade, but at the same
Yes,
time, if I notice behind you, you actually have the arcade.
I do. I got the arcade
I
back here.
hate you so much. I mean,
I
that's
have to thank my
awesome.
wife. That was a birthday present, about 4
Was
years
it?
ago from my wife. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
missed
For my
out. I
for
missed
my
out.
40th birthday. So, and then my brother got me
The
the
Casey
NECA
Jones.
Casey Jones mask there. So, yeah, yeah.
It's dope, man. It's
So,
dope. Well, I
yeah,
love it.
it gets nonstop play. It doesn't come with a light up piece, so I had to put on the marquee and the light up buttons, and I did some
Mm,
customization to trick it out,
it looks
all that
good. It
sort of
looks
fun stuff.
good. Yeah,
Thanks. Yeah,
I was
yeah.
about to say that doesn't look like the one that they ended up selling. So you ended up mix.
It's not stock, no, yeah.
Well,
I had to have too much.
I
Yeah.
know that you also brought up He-Man, right? I
Yeah,
don't know if
yeah,
you know
yeah.
this or not, but did you know that they now made a He-Man and Ninja Turtles crossover figure?
Oh, yeah, yeah, what are they? The Masters of no, oh, I have
I
seen
think
them,
Masters of
though.
the Sewers, is that what it was?
Masters of the Sewer,
I
something like
think
that? Yeah,
so. I think
yeah.
so. At least that's what's coming
I
to
got
mind.
so I have not looked too heavily into the line. I was looking into the figures, and maybe you can explain it to me better than I can, because I see like figures just like Beast Man, who just looks like Beast Man,
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but then I see some like mashups happening
Mm-hmm.
as well. I saw the Shred or the Krang mashup was really rad looking.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, but like I see some of them and it's just like it's just the basic figure, and then I see some of them and they're like mashup figures. So I don't
Yeah,
know
it's
what is going
interesting.
on with the line.
I gotta say, ever since and I think this was all planned. To be honest, it feels all planned. It feels all strategic on how they're selling these things, how they're doing these crossovers. It really started when Mutant Mayhem started being advertised, and the closer that it got, the more that they started releasing more and more and
Okay.
more. And then we started seeing like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossed over with Stranger Things, and we were like, well, what's that about? Like, I don't want those figures. And then
Right.
2 months later, they actually came out with the comic that crossed over the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with the
But they didn't give you any. warning, or you're just like,
Exactly.
that's just a strange crossover. And then they brought the comics out like after the toys were already out, and you're like, oh, I wish
Made
I had known
no
that
sense.
beforehand. Yeah,
Same thing with the Ninja Turtles crossover with the Karate Kid.
Street Fighter.
Made Street
Oh,
Fighter.
Karate
The
Kid.
yeah,
Yeah,
it doesn't. It
yeah,
if there's something coming out, it makes sense. But if there's nothing coming out, it why are you doing it? Um,
yeah,
but I do appreciate how they ended up implementing, like I had mentioned, the He-Man and the Ninja Turtles, considering those were the two figures that kind of came out around the same time, like you had mentioned, and they decided
yes.
let's just mash them up. So they have some interesting ones, but as a collector, I hate the mashup ones. I just can't do it. There's
Let me ask you, do you know if those figures, they come with like the mini comics in the back, like the old school figures do? A while back,
hmm
WWE did a mashup with
hmm
Masters of the Universe, and they came with the little mini comics that the old school Masters of the Universe toys came with back in
hmm
the day. And I
hmm
collect those books.
hmm
So I went hunting. I don't care about the WWE figures, but I collected the books.
just the little
So
books.
just a little book. So now I'm curious as if the Turtles and MOTU crossover has the little books. I'd be interested to see what those look like.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody talk about it. I haven't personally collected those. The only ones that I'm really collecting is the NECA ones, the Last
Mm.
Ronin, and
Hmm.
maybe some pops here and there. You know, it just
Sure. Yeah,
depends.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I have a lot more in the closet as well. I think my fiance is getting a little bit tired of it, as much as I love her. But yeah, no, I thank you one more time for coming on in, man, Vaughn. It's
Yeah,
been a
of course.
pleasure. Did you want to give any type of shout outs to anybody for all the thank yous and everything that's
Um,
been going on?
yeah, so if people are interested in still picking up the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures number 10, it's a mouthful. If they're interested in getting my variant cover, you can go over to lightningcomics.com. That's comics with an X on the end. And you can find a link to my book there. We've got signed copies. You also got the Virgin variant as well,
Mm-hmm.
graded copies as well. And that's actually who my next cover will be coming out through. It's another Saturday Morning Adventures book crossover with Usagi Yojimbo. It's a one shot, and so that's going to be my next cover that'll be coming out in a couple months. I'm still working on the artwork as we speak, but I'm pretty excited about that. Follow me on Instagram over at TV Artworks, and you can see constant updates of what I might be uploading from that cover. But yeah, lightningcomics.com. Shout out to IDW, shout out to Kevin Eastman and Nickelodeon for giving me a chance to get out there. And yeah, I guess that's about it. You can also find more of my stuff over at tvartworks.com.
There you go. There you go. Well, I appreciate you, everything that you've done. Congratulations one more time on all of your success and what's to come, hopefully in the future. And you're always welcome back in the den, brother.
Hey man, hey, you know what? Before you go,
Yeah,
you asked me the question of how did the turtles inspire me as
yeah.
growing up. Where did your love for this come from?
You know, when it came to the turtles, I wasn't officially introduced to the turtles until the second movie, till Secret of the Ooze.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and that's that was around the age that because when I was thinking about it, I was like, well, I was born when the first movie came out, so how did I actually fall in love with the turtles? And it was actually Secret of the Ooze, and then Secret of the Ooze kind of unlocked the first movie, and then the cartoons and everything. But the inspiration between, like, I wouldn't be who I am today without the turtles, and that's specifically because each character of the turtles kind of relates to me in every single aspect. The Leonardo who wants to be a leader, who wants to kind of protect his brothers. That's me protecting the people that are around me and helping those who are kind of needing that type of help or assistance. Raphael being that strong, stern one, trying to be able to be the rock. He's going to be like the last line of defense. Donatello being the smart one, thinking logically, trying not to put too much emotion into it, but at the same time trying to make the right decisions for his brothers and for himself. and then Michelangelo is just all my kid side. I think Seth Rogen stated he's a permanent teenager for life, and that really, and that really brought something in me that meant something to me. I was like, you know what? Every day I think positive, 100%. There's a lot of negative things that go on in life, but I always try to give out nothing but positive. And these characters mean so much to me, and it's just they've helped me grow into the individual that I am today. And I really appreciate you asking that because I don't think anybody's ever asked me that.
That's that's a rad answer. And like that's some serious thought given to that, And yeah, those turtles hit like all the personality points of like, you know, extreme
Hmm.
personalities as they go, right?
Hmm.
And so the fact that you can find all of those points within in yourself and probably be able to define certain situations in your life where each one of those personalities became the prime, the
Hmm.
the prime thought process at the time, like that's really cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and it goes a little bit, just a tiny bit further than that, because then I also have the splinter aspect, where the father is. I'm a father of two kids, and everything that I'm learned, I'm trying to help them. So it's something. It's like I get all of the Ninja Turtles all in one, and it's magical, and I just want to be able to share that with everybody else. That's why I did what I did, and we're pushing for 2024. So I really appreciate that question, man.
Sure, man. Yeah, yeah. Well, I appreciate you asking me. I appreciate you taking the time to have me on and just ask me questions. Like you didn't know me last week. You know what I'm saying?
No,
So
no, man.
I
I'm cool. I mean, this
you
is who
taking the
I
time.
am. I mean, outside of Deltron's, I'm the exact same person. I'm cool. I'm chill, and I just like to get to know people. That's it, man.
Sure, for sure. Well, thank you, dude.
Well, thank you. Well, you shell heads, you guys have a fantastic rest of y'all's night. Don't forget to follow all of his social medias, and don't forget to subscribe and share. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day.